Well, the Toronto Raptors, with a Christmas gift for Toronto Raptor fans, getting off the schneid, finally ending this disastrous run of losing basketball that they've been playing. And oh, by the way, you got a little bit of a bounce back game from Scotty Barnes. Now, it's interesting that on December 22nd last year, Scotty had 6 points against the Houston Rockets. On December 21st, against, I guess, the Brooklyn Nets, Scotty Barnes had 6 points. Now, last year, he bounced back with a big game against New York. Yeah, actually ended up with 24 points in that game. And in this game, he bounced back with 27. Big bounce back game from Scotty Barnes. He was absolutely the star of the game for me. But also, let's not forget that CMB was a menace on the glass, getting 8 offensive rebounds, if not more. That is a season high. If he ended up getting more, it was 8 or 9 offensive rebounds in this game. He had a monster game on the glass. The Raptors were majorly undersized, starting Sandro Mamu and Scotty Barnes against Kalel Ware and Bam Adebayo, and the Raptors just played better. They out executed the Heat, and the Heat have the best coach in the NBA per some estimations in Eric Spoelstra. The Raptors got up huge, 16-3 to open this game, and Spo had to call the first time out. And I think they came in with the right approach in this game. It was not Ingram. It was not Ingram. In fact, when the Raptors had 16 points, Brandon Ingram had attempted exactly one shot, and that was a three-pointer, and it was a good shot. I think if this team wants to get back to its roots, it's going to have to play through an egalitarian sort of approach. When RJ Barrett comes back, enjoy RJ Barrett anti-side pick and roll, enjoy Scotty Barnes early seals, enjoy Brandon Ingram early ISOs. There has to be more diversity to this offense. Now, are you out of the woods? No, you're not out of the woods. I agree with you. CMB should get the chain. Where is Scotty's trainer? He is in Florida. I almost assumed that he was at that game. This was a homecoming for Scotty Barnes. He's going to get to spend Christmas with the family down in Florida, which is really cool. The Raptors 905 guys like Chucky Hepburn, not Jamal Shed, Chucky Hepburn, AJ Lawson, Jonathan Mobo, those guys were on the bench tonight. Really cool. They played a heartbreaking loss yesterday against the Salt Lake City Stars, and they ended up losing that game. So they cost themselves $100,000. But nevertheless, the Raptors get back into the win column, and that is good to see because the Raptors were very much on the edge of floating into play-in territory, and that's bad. That's bad. The Celtics are surging. We just got news that Jason Tatum is planning a comeback this year. And, you just don't want to go into Christmas with a 3-game losing streak. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, can we send Grady to the G League? We tried that. It didn't work. So again, it's not like all your problems are solved. Sandro Mamu, I would be remiss by not mentioning Sandro was incredible tonight. Really, I think he set a career high in assists. He's just never had this kind of role or usage on a team. And I think that those of us who believe that he probably should be starting long-term for this team have a nice little feather on our cap right now. He is one of the best connectors in the NBA. And if anyone wants to call in and talk about connective passing, today would be the day because we spent a huge deal of time talking about it on the panel. Shout out to Player's Choice today. And I think, I was looking up Crafted and they have a player role segment, and I looked up the best connectors in the NBA. Number 1 was Keldon Johnson. That was a little bit surprising, but you know what wasn't surprising? Seeing Sandro Mamu at number 5. That wasn't surprising to me at all. He has been an incredible connector for this team. And if you want to talk about, what connective passing is, or basically it just comes down to advantage generation. Sandro is not cooking you off the dribble. Sandro is not step back threes. Sandro is just a really smart basketball player who makes really simple reads. A player who does not make simple reads and does not make good decisions is Emmanuel Quickley. And he continued his trend of making terrible ass decisions. Terrible decisions, by the way. Daryl said, Pensare Basketball, you were cooking on the panel today, making a lot of sense. I have to tell you, when I got off the show, I was like, that might be one of my best episodes. It is unfortunate that we did not have even 1,000 viewers today, but I guess people are busy with the holidays. But yes, I think it was one of my better episodes. I maintained my composure. I was pretty quick to my points. And I think I made a lot of sense for sure. I do. And the connective passing element of it is very important. Another player who just does not make good decisions is Grady Dick. Now, holy shit, man. It's getting bad with Grady. And it's getting bad with IQ. And if I'm trading anybody in the next 2 weeks, it's these two. They have looked really bad out there. And, it's not like everyone else is perfect. Mamu's not perfect. Jakob Pertl is, got a back injury. Brandon Ingram had a so-so game today. But there is a consistent malaise, drag down, silly turnovers, stuff like that. We're going to look at a lot of negatives in today's uh, film session. And I think that it's important to not get caught up in the wins and losses. I've never made this channel about wins and losses. Last year, I was a very upbeat fellow, talking about the process of the offense and the growth and the development. The year before, when the Raptors were kind of in transition and building up good habits, I was a pretty happy person. The year prior to that, when the Raptors were a 41-win team and they were in the play-in, I was a miserable podcaster who complained every single day about the Raptors' decisions. So it's never been about wins and losses for me. And I don't care if Grady hits a shot. If it's a stupid shot and if the process is bad and it's a fluke, then it's a fluke. We got to call it what it is. If Emmanuel quickly makes 14 bad decisions and those bad decisions happen to result in a hot potato, the ball finds Scotty Barnes in the corner and Scotty Barnes hits a three, that's not going to make the possession any better because, again, you didn't face a good team today. You faced a team that was good about a month and a half ago and has since become one of the worst teams in the NBA. And, it's funny. The Brooklyn Nets are a team that you probably consider bad. And if you're playing the record, the Brooklyn Nets just beat the Raptors and the Sixers, both division rivals, in back-to-back games. So the Brooklyn Nets right now are not as bad as you think. The New Orleans Pelicans and the Dallas Mavericks are not as bad as you think because they're playing good basketball right now. The Chicago Bulls against good teams are not a bad team. Against bad teams, they're an awful team. The Atlanta Hawks are not a good team right now. They are losing consistently. So it doesn't matter what your record is. It matters like what the trailing average is of how you've been playing over the last 10 games. The Raptors, again, are a somewhat mediocre offense by the numbers. But over the last 10 games, they were not a mediocre offense. They were an abysmal offense. And they remained a miserable offense through the first quarter. The Raptors were on pace for 84 points in this game. They managed to score only a measly 21 points after getting up 16-3. Take a look at this. The Raptors got up 16-3. Take a look at the game flow. That is not a typo. The Raptors were up 16-3 and managed to score. Hold on. 16-3. 6 minutes. Hold on. Let's check this out here. So they scored their 16th point at the 7-minute mark. So for 7 minutes, you scored 5 points. 5 points in 7 minutes. And the Heat caught right back up. And next thing you know, the Miami Heat, it's a tie game. 23-23, 25-28, 30-30. And it's just like, uh-oh, here comes the same old bullshit. And then somewhere in the middle of that second quarter, Scotty Barnes woke up. And in that third quarter, he was very awake. And in that fourth quarter, he was masterful. He got better as this game went on. Early in this game, I was a little bit worried about Scotty. I'm not going to lie. I made this graphic right here. Do y'all remember yesterday I made a graphic of Scotty Barnes crying about, it was like last game. I made a graphic before the game of Scotty Barnes bitching about a call and Michael Porter Jr. looking all smug. And it was because I was predicting that the Raptors would lose against the Brooklyn Nets. And today I decided to go another direction. I went with wait, what the hell am I doing here? I went with this graphic right here. And this was presumptuous. This was presumptuous. This was assuming the Raptors would whoop the Bam Adebayo-led Heat, who start two centers when we have no centers, right? So I thought the Raptors going to win tonight because there's no way they're going into Christmas break feeling this sorry about themselves, and the Heat look really lost right now. With Tyler Hero, without Tyler Hero, it doesn't really matter. with Norman Powell cooking, not Norman Powell cooking, Kel'el Ware third in the league in three-point percentage. It doesn't matter. None of this matters. They're just playing terrible basketball. Whatever they do, it doesn't work right now. And Spoelstra needs to find a different way. But nevertheless, I I went out on a limb thinking the Raptors would win today because nothing that they showed in that Brooklyn game should suggest that they were going to win. And they ended up winning. They ended up winning, and Colin Murray-Boyles had 13 rebounds. Let's take a look at the box score here. Scotty Barnes with a really efficient 10 for 14, got to the line 8 times. That was a sight for sore eyes. Had only 4 assists, but he was so masterful with his passes, so patient, inviting the double team. 8 rebounds, nice, very nice. You know, when you are the lone guy who can actually do that in your starting lineup, shout outs to him for doing that. And again, 27 points plus 21 tonight. Emmanuel Quickly, 5 for 15, got to the line 7 times, couple very questionable, couldn't hit a 3, 1 for 8. A lot of those passes were from Ingram and Barnes, but nevertheless, 18 points on 15 shots, 7 free throws. And you know what? The plus minus data is lying because he was plus 27 and I thought he was out awful tonight. I thought he was terrible tonight. Ochai Agbaji, very mixed performance. Brandon Ingram, very mixed performance, but nice to see Brandon Ingram under 30 minutes. It was really Scotty IQ in the second unit in that second half, a lot of minutes. Ingram just had a lot of sitting time. And you know what? If you're the Raptors, you have a guy who has got a lot of injuries in his past right now. And it's probably a good thing to get him a little bit of rest here. Off the bench, minutes leaders included my 2 favorite guys, really, well, 3 favorite guys, Colin Murray-Boyles, Jamal Shed, and Jacoby Walter. And I think they all played reasonably well. They all played reasonably well. They all contributed very well. And Jamison Battle was awesome. He hit every single shot, every single 3 tonight. And so, yeah, that's your rookie class, man. Those are your second-year players and first-year players. There is, of course, a glaring, and that is Grady Dick, 0 for 4. And that's not your rookie, and that's not your sophomore. That's your junior. That's your third-year guy. And he had 12 points tonight, had less minutes than Jamison Battle. He did. You know what? He played 12 minutes tonight. You know how many minutes he should have played? 0. He should have played 0 because I don't think 0 for 4 it doesn't even come close to capturing how negative he was on the court. For the Miami Heat, they had really nothing going. And I just want to bring up the fact because, today there was this, or yesterday on the panel, there was this whole segment about Scotty Barnes is like inevitably going to be a third option. And is he a better player than OG Anunoby? And this is absolute fucking horseshit, bullshit, right? Absolute nonsense from ball knowers, complete garbage analysis. I just want to remind you that Scotty Barnes, and today I heard on the panel that Norman Powell could replace Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in OKC, and it wouldn't be that big. It wouldn't be that big a difference. Well, I want to remind you that Scotty Barnes outscored both Bam Adebayo and Norman Powell. And if I asked the average panelist, is Scotty Barnes better than Norman Powell? They'd probably tell you no. If I asked them, is he better than Bam Adebayo? They'd probably tell you no because they don't know shit about connective passing. That's the problem. So, nevertheless, Kel'el Ware, if you took the overs on Kel'el Ware, whoops, my bad. He sucked. He sucked tonight. He looked very invisible. He ended up hitting a 3, but other than that, his impact was very, very tepid. He did not bring intensity for a guy who was effectively the only 7-footer in the game. For him to not dominate this game kind of gives you shades of why some people were very, very apprehensive about rating him as a prospect. Very skilled, but the skill has never been in doubt. Was never in doubt. CMB and Scotty Barnes boxed that dude out, and he had no response for it. So, shout outs to the Raptors. Jaime Jaquez, lone bright spot for the Miami Heat. But I think Jacoby did a really good job on him in certain moments. Simone Fontecchio and Jaime Jaquez, in a game where their team got blown out by 21 points, they were actually plus. And that is important to me because this team was very good when Jaime Jaquez was on the court. Multiple runs happened with Jaime on the court. And when Jaime was not on the court, they looked really bad. So you know what? Maybe go back to Kel'el Ware coming off the bench. And, if he has it, play him. If he doesn't, don't play him. Because this double big lineup just didn't work. Their spacing was really bad. Their offense was very predictable. And Norman Powell and Davion Mitchell, wow, he looked fucking awful. I mean, I still catch strays from people saying like, "Oh, Rob, Davion cooking in Miami." Yo, today I don't want to dismiss everything good Davion has done, but man, if you really watch Davion Mitchell and you think this is like a lead guard in the NBA, you really are out to lunch. Like you're insane. We did get our second look at Kasparas Yakuchonis, whose name was butchered every single time by the broadcast. Shout outs to Alvin Williams and Matt Devlin for trying to pronounce this. But yes, I like him. I like him. He wasn't my favorite guy in the draft, but showed me nothing to be scared of in tonight's game. He ended up with 28 minutes, largely because Kalaware and Davion Mitchell just were basically unplayable against the Raptors. And Daryl said Davion made IQ look good. Still bad. Yeah, I mean, honestly, IQ is just stopping himself at this point. I can't wait for the film breakdown because I think the film breakdown is going to be very instrumental. I do want to say shout outs to Dat Canadian 7172 for becoming a YouTube member. Ball, and also to Ryan Alex Harris. Merry Christmas, Rob and Pensare Basketball community. The Raptors. Whoops, sorry about that. Why am I blurry? Okay. Merry Christmas, Rob and Pensar Basketball community. The Raptors are fun when Scotty plays like the guy we know he is. What will it take to keep his energy going, keep this energy going forward, especially defensively, regardless of a W or an L? If Scotty looks back on how he played in the third quarter, fourth quarter extended, I think what he will see is that when he's decisive, things are good for him. And when he's not, things are not. There were stretches of the first quarter and even early in the second quarter where I still think he looked terrible. And we're going to look at a couple of those plays where it didn't look right with him. There was a turnover to Emmanuel Quickly's foot, which we're going to look at. There was another one where he passes to Emmanuel Quickly, but Alvin Williams correctly called out that he traveled on the play. There was a play where he catches the ball right underneath the basket and he's basically open and he kicks it out to Sandro Mamukelashvili, who proceeds to miss the three. Look, I completely understand trying to get your teammates involved, trying to be a good teammate. Being a good teammate means taking open shots, man. So he just needs to get his mindset right of, tonight I am going to make someone stop me. When he plays with that mantra in mind, he will be awesome, regardless of how tired he is or whatever. Tonight, he found double teams. Sorry, he found mismatches. He asked for seals. He demanded it. Sometimes, body language is a very main thing with Scotty. And I'm not saying this as like because he complained so much, because he complained a lot tonight too, and it wasn't great. I'm not saying that as a criticism of Scotty. I'm saying body language of like I look like I actually want to shoot this ball. People are going to pass to you more. When you look like you really, really want the ball, when you move towards the ball, when you seal with intention, people will pass you the ball much more. When you're aggressive, like I think Scotty is so scarred from demanding post ups with Fred or rolling hard with Fred and demanding the ball and not getting the ball. Like nobody in this offense is capable of freezing you out due to seniority, pecking order, or championship rings. So at this point, you gotta go the right way. And I think, in big moments, I trust Scotty more than any player in this team. I really do. Tonight, the Raptors needed a win. They desperately needed one. It was on the road. This was a home game for Scotty, if we're being real. He's from West Palm Beach, very, very close to Miami. And, family in attendance, baby on the way, second baby on the way, presumably daughter in attendance, wife, girlfriend in attendance, mom in attendance. So yeah, show out. Masai Ujiri in attendance. Let him know, right? Can you imagine what Masai Ujiri was thinking when Grady Dick got lost on that defensive play? Holy shit. We are going to look at Grady, man. We are going to look at Grady's play tonight because he was awful. But Ryan, thank you so much for the super chat, man. It's very appreciated. And thank you to this channel for all of your generosity throughout the year. I very much appreciate it. Okay. Let's take a look at this. Okay. So listen, I was not early. I was, just looking it up. I was like, how does Scotty respond around this time of the year? And I mentioned it earlier, and this is the post that I was talking about. And I said on December 23rd, which is exactly a year ago today, he responded with 24 points against the New York Knicks and averaged 22, 8, and 5 for the next 9. This is around when the Raptors defense also became top 5 for the rest of the season. Hey, man. Humans are somewhat cyclical in a sense, right? There's a certain time of the season. I guarantee you, if you're somebody who takes a journal or has journal entries, you're going to notice that every November, something happens in your life and it's predictable year over year. You might have a certain pattern. Scotty clearly has a pattern, right? December is like a make or break month where he shifts perspective and he goes one way or the other way. The All Star year, he went downhill after December. Last year, he went up. And this is kind of a fork in the road moment for him on, who he wants to be for the rest of this year. Do you want to be an MVP candidate? Do you want to be a DPOY? Or do you want to be the guy who's the highest paid player on a playing team? Like, that's your choice, right? But I think tonight Scotty showed you like what his decision is, because this stare right here, this is a very rare look for Scotty Barnes, and believe me, it caught me off guard because he's a pretty locked in dude. He's either talking to somebody, he's watching the game. This stare right here is, I'm not watching the game. I am in deep thought. He's not watching jack shit right now. He is just in deep thought right now. Ochai Abaji's watching the game. Mamu's presumably looking at a ball girl or something. But Scotty is in deep thought here. Like, what the fuck is going wrong with this team? And we're going to look at the film, and I'm going to show you what the fuck is going wrong with this team. Emmanuel quickly, man. Some stats for you. The Toronto Raptors are 10-4 in games where Emmanuel Quickly has a 20% or lower usage. They are 7-8 in games where Quickly has a usage higher than 20%. Now they are 8-8 after tonight. The Raptors are 2-6 when Scotty Barnes posts a below zero box plus minus. They are 9-3 when he's between 0 and 5.9, and they are 6-4 when he is between 6 and 20. With RJ and Jakob out, Scotty will have to have great games for us to even sniff winning, and that holds true today, and that will hold true for the rest of the season. If Scotty is not going right, we are not going right, and one way to go right is to. Oh man, is X gonna do this shit? On the first one? Okay. Most of them are loading. Presumably, there's always going to be one that doesn't load, and that's the one. Anyway, Scotty flashes to the middle. Jacoby cuts backdoor, and he finds Jacoby for an open layup. I said the Raptors are on pace for 84 wins. 84 points, and this is one of the biggest reasons why. Take a look at this right here. Now, granted, it's 7.4 seconds on the clock right now. The shot goes up. Scotty boxes out. Good job. Grady gets the rebound. Scotty fights him for the rebound. Grady falls out of bounds. Such a funny play. 3 seconds to go, and Scotty's thinking pass to Emmanuel quickly. And I'm assuming he's thinking that Quickly's going to start moving, but Quickly doesn't move. Quickly just stands there stationary because Quickly has no idea about shot clock. And so Scotty is thinking like one a little bit ahead, right? Scotty's thinking if there's 3 seconds on the clock, he's going to start moving towards the basket. And this is why I say court mapping is very difficult when you have dumb teammates. Court mapping is something we also talked about on the panel today. And some people, Chill was talking about it, and it was a fascinating discussion. And Chill was saying, like, it's just basically knowing where all the other 4 players are or knowing where the 9 players are. No, it's not actually knowing where the other 9 players are. It's knowing where the other 9 players are going to be, because this is just a matter of time and space. When I throw a basketball to a stationary target, that might get me through high school basketball. But the minute I get to D1, I can't throw basketball to assume that when the basketball goes from my hands to the teammate's hands, that the court will look exactly the same. So I have to completely shape the court in my mind and know. So for instance, on this play right here, right? When I pick up this ball in a snap second, now look, right here, the court is already mapped. And right here, what is Scotty thinking here? 3.1 seconds. You're going towards the basket now, the other basket, because you can't score on your own basket, right? So he's thinking, I got to lead him into this, right? And midway through throwing this pass, he kind of realizes Quickly is not going to move. That Quickly doesn't realize what's happening. And his brain almost malfunctions in the middle, and he just ends up throwing the ball middle of where Quickly is and where he was supposed to be. You'll see LeBron have passes like this all the time too. Now, to an average observer, you watch this pass and you're like, Scotty Barnes is insane. Why is he throwing this ball there? But that's the point. Every pass is thrown to where the player is expected to be, not where the player is right now. And the problem with Quickly is he can only ever really throw passes to where players are right now. That's why he generates zero advantages, because he doesn't know where players are going to be. And you're going to see his lack of court mapping come up a lot in this film session. Uh, oh my god, this is not even a film session thing. This is a blooper reel. Okay, once again, you see, Emmanuel Quickly passes to stationary targets because that's all he can do. He gets shut down. Like, let me take you into the mind of Emmanuel Quickly. Score, 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 score. Never mind, can't score. Pass. He has no mind of where anybody is on the court. I promise you, at some point, I am going to dissect the shit out of this guy's lack of passing ability, and it is going to be like ether level, Fred VanVleet level, like dissection and criticism of a player's game, because he really doesn't see the court. And I don't think he's smart enough to realize that he is really bad at this. Now, here he's suggesting that I don't know what he's doing. Scotty is asking for a pass. What the hell? Where's Masai Ujiri? Can we see Masai Ujiri in the stands? I wonder if like we could see Masai Ujiri. Does Masai Ujiri just immediately vomit when he sees that? My God. Now here I said Scotty Barnes. Angry, angry, angry. Now, the last play, I don't actually completely blame Scotty. It's a two-way thing of miscommunication between two teammates. This one I fully blame Scotty. This sucked. And this was in the second quarter where he was pulling up some bullshit here. This is Fontecchio. He can never, ever beat you off the dribble. You don't have a rim protector. Court mapping tells you that your court mapping ability tells me that you know that you are this team's last line of defense. You know Grady is not going to sit in the gap and actually stop this drive. You know Emmanuel Quickly and Jacoby Waters can't block this dude. So why the fuck are you opening up and allowing him to go middle like this? Now here, Emmanuel Quickly does the unthinkable. He protects the rim. Look at that. He actually goes straight up and he stops it. And what do you do, Scotty Barnes? Nothing. Bullshit ass play. This is not on Jacoby. This is not on Emmanuel Quickly. This is not on Grady Dick. This is 100% on Scotty Barnes not getting that rebound. Your responsibility to get that rebound. That was absolutely the low point of this game for Scotty Barnes. I said, this is real life. Another blooper reel. This game was full of comedy. Now, I want to tell you, Davion Mitchell drove me insane last year because of plays like this. Because I don't think that you can be a starting point guard in the NBA and have this shit happen to you ever. Like, you can scour through Steve Nash and Jason Kidd's entire career history. You will rarely find one play like this. Davion Mitchell does this shit often. Here, this is not a steal. This is Davion just forgets how to dribble a basketball. Watch his hand. Is that a steal? Or did Davion just bounce this ball off his knee for whatever reason? Now, if you're thinking, oh, the Raptors are about to get an easy basket. Nope. Think again. Here, Jacoby passes to Brandon Ingram, as the Raptors often like to do. And Ingram says, hey, Davion, anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything worse than you. No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. Oh, my God. What the? Oh, Ingram, with your stupid ass turnovers. I said this is definitely better than whatever the fuck he was doing the past two games. More of this, please. So in the second quarter, right here, Raptors 43-41. This is the moment that Scotty Barnes took over. This right here. So you might see 27 points, and you might not have watched this entire game. He had two games. Okay. First half, passive, bullshit, totally disconnected from his teammates, average, but getting to the line, putting some points, whatever. Better than what he's been, but not great. From this point on to the rest of the game, he was the best player in the building, and it wasn't close. Okay? Right here, early steal on Jaime Jaquez. Big defender, 6'8", very strong, very burly, doesn't matter. You can't stop him. That's an and one. Scotty got to the line a lot tonight. Again, 10 for 14. I said, Colin Murray-Boyles has been awesome. Credit to BI and Manu for making this possible. Look at this block by Colin Murray-Boyles. Again, you don't have rim protection, right? So, first of all, sorry, this is Brandon Ingram with the block, which is awesome. BI, block. Mamu, we say connective, right? Advantage, transition, Adebayo over helps. Thinking, that guy can't shoot. Doesn't even put a hand up. Doesn't even bother to put a hand up. These are practice shots. And to CMB's credit, unlike Ben Simmons, he's actually taking them and he's making them. I said, well, history is repeating itself because you know that I am not so classy that I won't victory lap. I said 5 seconds. This is the end of the third quarter. I said 5 seconds. Got to get something better than this bullshit. The Raptors were awesome in the third quarter. I just want to let you know they blew this game wide open in the third quarter. And there's no clips from the third quarter for me because I just wanted to watch the game as opposed to clipping it up. But here you go. There's 5 seconds left on the clock. And Emmanuel quickly does not know how to split this defense, does not know how to beat this trap emerging, does not know how to find Scotty Barnes here, which would have inevitably resulted in probably a cross corner pass to Grady Dick, which I mean is akin to a turnover at this point. But to have 5 seconds on the clock and to come up with that bullshit, you are not a point guard. You are not a lead point guard. Here, fourth quarter, Grady Dick defensively. Once again, this is borderline blooper territory. Okay. This is why Grady Dick got the fewest minutes off the bench tonight. The Raptors did not go deep into their rotation tonight, but this is why Jamison Battle is playing over you. And Jamison Battle got cooked on defense too. He's not a great defender by any means. Watch this. This is insane. Now, Jaime Jaquez, very good screener. So I understand you getting stuck on this. What I don't understand is why your brain is loading up like AOL, dial-up internet. Here, what are you doing? You have to fight through this. Get over it or get under it. What are you doing? You just is this a spy movie? Is this a spy movie that you're like doing like a little about turn there? Like, where the fuck are you going? Why are you trying to spin off of him? You're not on offense. Right now, does Grady look like he's playing offense or defense? Bro doesn't even know. Now here, he's so honed in on this lights out Steph Curry clone that he doesn't even realize that the guy who doesn't even have his fucking shoe on right now, by the way, Jaime Jaquez, caught his left foot there. He doesn't even have his shoe on. He's wide open. And he's a pretty good player, which is more than I can say for your dumbass. My God. Just wide open. And look at him. He's looking down at his shoe like, damn, I don't even have my shoe on. This guy's a real bum. My God. Now, this is why you should never, ever double team Scotty Barnes. These two plays are going to make you think that these are the same play. I assure you these are not the same play. So here, this Smith matchup with Scotty is just, it's flagrant. It's a stupid, stupid matchup. He can't guard him at all. It's too small. And Jaime Jaquez knows that. Watch how quickly Scotty is able to find the advantage out of this. Again, set a timer. Doesn't even bring the second hand back, and it's an immediate touch pass to Emmanuel quickly right in his shooting pocket, and he hits it. This is the dude y'all been fucking freezing out. This is the guy that you opt for 45, Brandon Ingram possessions every single game. Unbelievable. Okay, come on, man. Get this. And I know what you're thinking. Rob, this is the same play again, right? It's not the same play. Hang on. Why are we having error loading? All of Scotty's positive plays. I feel like Elon Musk does not like Scotty Barnes. That must be it. That's why we're having trouble loading all of Scotty's positive plays. What the fuck? Anyways, the same play happens again, except this time we go opposite corner. Yo, what is happening here? Okay. Can y'all see this right here? Can y'all sort of see that right there? It's the same play. Left block, wide open, Jamison battle, defenders late. My bad, y'all. Okay. I said CMB with a great block gives Emmanuel Quickly a chance to run a fast break. This is not a comedy routine, man. This is life or death. This is serious. This dude makes $32 million a year to play basketball. Okay, wait a second here. So good defense by Jacoby, pressuring up on Norman Powell. I like it. And you know what? This is what I say. Team defense trumps man defense. You do get beat, but you get beat in a way that allows enough resistance to allow CMB to come over and block the shit out of this shot. Perfect. Scotty Barnes, your terrible ass decision here is you're too nice. Why are you passing to number 5? I'm screaming at the television. Anyone but number 5. Anyone but, damn it. Here we go. Watch this. Okay. I want you to pretend that you are an NBA point guard, and this is the decision you make. You have an early advantage. You choose to slow it down. Okay. You have a big, high, paint wide open. Now, defender Andrew Wiggins has turned his back. This advantage is going to be open for a millisecond. You have to find it. This is basic basketball. There are high school guards out there who can find this pass right here, and you don't make it. And that pass right there, how the fuck do you not make this pass to Colin Murray-Boyles? I promise you, in real time, this was obvious. You know how you don't make this pass to Colin Murray-Boyles? You decide you're not going to pass to Colin Murray-Boyles. I can't even imagine what it must look. I wasn't a big. I was a guard. So I have no idea how bigs feel necessarily from my own perspective. I have no idea what it's like to run the court, get an early seal, and not receive the basketball. But I used to be empathetic to big men and just say, listen, if they do the work to run in transition, it's my job to get them the basketball. I wasn't the greatest at it, but I tried my best. This shit is criminal. It's insane. You can't make this pass? Are you kidding me right now? You got Colin Murray-Boyles wide open, streaking down the court. He gives you multiple opportunities. And do you know what this turns into? This turns into him picking up his dribble, standing around for 3 seconds, and then passing back to Scotty Barnes, and the whole fucking offense resets. Scotty sends it up to you to find the advantage early. You have multiple opportunities to drive into the paint, collapse the defense, find a shooter. You don't do it. Then you have an opportunity to find CMB streaking down the court. You don't do it. Now you have the defense come up high where CMB goes low, and you once again don't find him. You suck. Like, you really suck at basketball. If you can't make this pass, you should never, ever play point in the NBA. I don't think you should play point in Division I if you can't make this pass. This shit is embarrassing. You know, Jamal Shed would make this pass in his sleep. Chucky Hepburn would make this pass in his sleep. Scotty Barnes would make this pass in his sleep. It's really quite crazy to me. Crazy. Now, I do have a bone to pick here with the referees. How the fuck is this not an and one? The foul here. How's that not an and one? How is that not an and one? That's 100% an and one. How's that not an and one? I've got questions, NBA. Now, look at Colin Murray-Boyles outworking everybody. I said CMB has done this all night. 8 offensive rebounds is the most by any rookie. Take a look. Here, Andrew Wiggins is a very athletic guy. He's technically taller than CMB. He's presumably stronger than CMB because he is an NBA veteran who is 30 years old. But here, Emmanuel Quickly, like, my God, who does this guy think he is, man? Anyways, point is, all's well that ends well. CMB taps that out. One of many positive plays that he made. Look, if you're a Raptor fan looking for something to be optimistic about with this game, I'll give you plenty. There's plenty to be optimistic about. Number one, your highest paid player and presumably your franchise player looked like a franchise player, and he showed up when you needed him the most. That's a good thing. Number two, your 9th overall pick, your rookie, and someone that you have a lot of high hopes for, and need to work out. In a sense, Grady, Jacoby, Jonathan Mobo, Jamal Shed, CMB, these are all independent decisions. I get that. They're all independent decisions. These are not inexplicably tied to each other decisions. But in a lot of ways, they are because they're drafted by the same team. And the more you fuck up on draft picks, the more pressure you put on yourself to finally hit. And you just can't go 0 for 5. You can't go like 1 for 7 with draft picks. You don't have a lot of draft picks to begin with. You're not the Brooklyn Nets. You didn't make 5 first round picks. Jared Osei saying, damn, Spurs cooked Thunder again. Are you kidding me? Really? Again? Damn, this might be psychological. Oh my God, they're destroying them. Whoa. Is this real life? The Spurs are up 128-110 against the OKC Thunder. Holy shit. Wow. That's crazy. This is a very busy night in the NBA. Very busy night in the NBA. Not only did the two Eastern Conference powerhouses, the Toronto Raptors and the Miami Heat play basketball, the Lakers on the verge of being blown out on the road. The Utah Jazz are predictably in their tank gimmick right now. The Sacramento Kings respond to beating Houston by getting smoked by Detroit. And Chicago actually beat Atlanta. Atlanta continues their slide, and that was an overtime game, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, that game ended in regulation. So it was a last second shot by who the hell hit it? Let me just see here. Because this game was tied up 123-123. Who the hell hit the shot? It was oh shit, it was free throws. What? Oh wow. I guess they turned it over. Like what the fuck happened there? Kobe White makes free throw 1. Vucevic made free throw 1 and 2. Cool. That's dope. The Chicago Bulls continue their winning ways. The Chicago Bulls are a flipped team, right? I mean, it's just interesting overall. The New Orleans Pelicans, they lose. They had won 5 straight. The Milwaukee Bucks end up beating the Indiana Pacers. How are we feeling about Pascal Siakam this year, victory lappers? I'm just curious. To all the people who were telling me last year that I didn't know basketball, you are now watching Pascal Siakam have to floor lift a team as bad as Scotty Barnes did last year with the Raptors. And you are watching the results. They are 6-24. They are really bad, proving perhaps that context matters a lot. Okay. And this is not a team that is completely void of talent. They have Benedict Mathurin. They have Andrew Nemhard. They have Jay Huff. They have Jarris Walker. They have James Wiseman's back in the NBA. What the fuck? I thought they waived him. That's weird. They have TJ McConnell. I mean, Ox would tell you TJ McConnell, really good player. And, you know, I would agree. I would tend to agree. So, anyways, let's take a look at the standings after tonight. The Raptors are back and forth. That's nice. That's nice. The Sixers lose. The Magic possibly could win tonight, probably will win tonight. But damn, right? And the Oklahoma City Thunder are about to lose their 4th game of the year. And 2 of those games have come to the San Antonio Spurs. That's pretty nice. That's pretty cool. And the Cleveland Cavaliers have finally snapped out of their slump as well. I ended up catching the Cavaliers versus the Hornets game. And, you know, like overall, I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are looking a lot better. I really do believe that. I wonder like what went on tonight. Let me just take a look here. Tonight for the Cleveland Cavaliers, we got a 27-point performance from Donovan Mitchell. That's pretty standard issue at this point. Sam Merrill steps in the starting lineup with 22. Wow, they went really small. Holy shit. They went Sam Merrill, Darius Garland, and Donovan Mitchell. So they just went for spacing above everything. Dean Wade and Jared Allen. And then off the bench, they got DeAndre Hunter, Jalen Tyson, Thomas Bryant, and Craig Porter all in double digits. So, you know, big team win for them. And for the New Orleans Pelicans, you know, 21 points again for Derek Queen, the future Nikola Jokic, right? That's coming off. And, you know, Zion Williamson was absolutely destroying. Shit, who the hell did they face yesterday? They were on a second night of a back-to-back, were they not? So Zion went absolutely crazy against Dallas. I think he scored like 10 points in the 4th quarter. So, you know, very interesting night in the NBA. I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about on the panel tomorrow. A lot of narratives. Did the Denver Nuggets come back? That was one thing that I really wanted to check because the Denver Nuggets were down huge. Dallas ended up winning by 1. Holy crap. Dallas ends up winning. Wow. So there's going to be a lot to talk about, man. The Dallas Mavericks are cooking. They are now 9-9 at home, which is good. They're presumably still looking to make trades because 12-19 in the West means the same thing to everybody. But 31 points for Anthony Davis and 33 points for Cooper Flag. Damn, 33, 9-9. I feel like I'm Ron right now. I'm just like impressed. Since moving Cooper Flag away from the point guard position, it's been pretty smooth sailing for them. And let's see how our boy Maxime Renault is doing over against Detroit. Maxime has been starting for a little while. He has 2 points and 1 rebound tonight. The Kings are getting blown out. And Kate Cunningham has 14 points. Nice. So little nice around the NBA. Nice one saying Maxime getting minutes on the Kings now. Well, I mean, Domantas Sabonis out. He better get minutes. But he's been really decent. I have I wanted Maxime. Is he any good this year? Yeah, he's been very solid. He's been very solid, very smart basketball player, really good growth. And I talked to someone who covers the Sacramento Kings recently, and they were just like, I'm hearing such great things about him in practice. But hey, like we'll see how this plays out. LeVar Ball said, keep doing this around the NBA segment. I like it. Yeah. I mean, after I'm done with this live, I'm probably gonna have to spend about 3.5 to 4 hours going back and watching games so that I'll know what I'm talking about tomorrow. So yeah, basketball has been. James Welsh said Rob is on fire tonight. He must have dipped into the eggnog a bit early. There is no eggnog here, friend. It is just wine. Lance said, "Is that Precious starting?" Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The Sacramento Kings employ Precious Achiuwa, DeMar DeRozan, and Dennis Schroeder. Basically, all of Toronto's rejects are in Sacramento right now. Tyler later too said, haven't been watching the Hornets, but his Con's defense is bad as great. It's not even close. Okay. First of all, Con Knipple is not a bad defender. You think he's a bad defender because he looks like a pudgy white kid, but he's not a bad defender. He is average to below average defender. Grady is an abysmal defender. There are gaps and levels to this. Con Knipple. Someone asked me the other day, I think it was Ron, how high I was on Con Knipple. And to answer that, I said I would give up Grady and 3 first-round picks to get Con Knipple. Like that to me is the real gap between those two players. The gap is 3 first-round picks added to the lesser player. I'm really losing faith in Grady fast, man. I mean, I know that, after the All-Star break, he could presumably, maybe, or after the Christmas break, he could go on a huge run where, he scores 18 points per game for a week. I can see it. But consistency matters in the NBA, man. Consistency matters so much. And who you are on an average Tuesday matters to me much more than your highlights and lowlights. Maximilian. Okay, my bad. Having some trouble reading there for a second. Grady makes RJ all defensive team. I don't know about that, but yes. Yeah. Like RJ is better defensively than Grady. But Grady's had moments. Like Grady's had competitive moments. RJ's had duds. They both had their moments. But, shout outs to the Raptors for winning without a center tonight. It's not easy. It's not easy to win with, when you're so undersized. But if Scotty's going to play like this, you always have a chance. I would estimate he probably had like a 7 or 8 boxes minus game tonight. When he has 7 or 8 boxes minus in that range, the Raptors are a pretty good team. If you're going to face a team like Miami that's playing absolutely bullshit basketball, you're going to win basketball games. Scotty is that good. Since BI couldn't hit a shot, watch him 0 for 2 threes next game. That's interesting. I mean, I don't know. Maybe tonight should also be a little bit of evidence for the people who have been complaining about the over touches and like it would be hard to hold the position that the Raptors cannot score without Ingram when you watch tonight. right? Because you watch tonight and you see that Ingram was not very instrumental or involved in the offense. He was more like an off-ball guy, and the Raptors looked much better. And in the last game, you overfed him possessions, you overextended him, and you've been doing that a lot over the last, 12, 13 games, and you've been the worst offense in the NBA. You weren't the worst offense in the NBA tonight. You might have been the best defense in the NBA tonight, but you weren't the worst offense in the NBA tonight. I mean, you held the team to 91 points, you scored 112. It's not great, but 112 is like mediocre. It's a mediocre-ish game. It's a mediocre offensive game. Can I remind you, this team scored 81 points in the last game? That's a 31-point improvement. CMB with the chain. Well deserved. CMB deserved the chain tonight. Okay, we got Jan Habtazon. I don't know why I always call you Habitson, but it's Habtazon calling in. I believe you were the same fellow who messaged in the last live stream and you wanted to talk about something. So let's hear what Jan has to say. Jan, what's up?
Yeah, what's up, bro? Nah, don't worry about the last thing. Screw it. It's okay. Three takeaways from this game that I think the Raptors need to do going forward. Let's start with my man Grady Dick. Okay, I think it's time. I think it's time. Send him into the G League. Let him iron out some things. Jameson Battle needs to get his minutes. It's time, right? It's time. He's the better shooter. The better defender, right? I know. It's hard to say,
Not by
but
a lot.
not by a lot. I know, but he is the better shooter, though. This
Yes,
is
he is the
because
better shooter and he is the better defender. He's not the
yeah,
better creator, driver, whatever,
he's
but that
not. But
shit doesn't work
Grady
for
Dick's
either one of
shot
them.
selection has been horrible. He'll come in and make a stupid play. Everything. I'm just sick of it. I think that needs to change. I think they need
Sure.
to play James Battle. Second, especially when Jakob Pertl's not playing,
Hmm.
Scotty Barnes needs more post up touches. I feel like that's where he's most confident, most efficient, posting up. And I feel like they did that a lot tonight. And you just seen him be so much aggressive, so much more confident. And
Hmm.
I always felt like he's always been I always felt like even when he was a rookie, his best, he's always been playing at best when he's been posting up guys. And I think the Raptors need to go. They need to go. They got to do that more, especially when Jakob Pertl's not in the lineup. And then three, this is my final take right here. CMB needs to play more. He needs to play more. There's games where he'll play like 20 minutes a night, like tonight, and there's games where like I just like I don't get it. Like where he's 8 minutes, 7 minutes, and it's not because he's playing bad, right? But I just feel like when he's playing a lot of minutes, he has so much more opportunity to impact the game. And he just plays hard. He crashes the board. He's such a versatile defender. And I get it. We've been told this guy can't shoot. The man is shooting 44% from three. Low volume. True. Low volume. But if he's open, I want to encourage him to shoot it. I want him to shoot more. Like I really do. If you're making that high percentage threes, I want you to shoot more because especially if you're open. Because honestly, like the way it is right now, our offense sometimes gets stagnant. We need shooting, and I feel like I think encourage CMB to take some threes, open threes, obviously. I think that'll be beneficial for us, and I think he definitely needs to be playing more. Those are my three takeaways. I feel like the Raptors need to do moving forward, though.
I see why he doesn't play more.
Really?
Oh yeah. Take a look. In the 405 minutes he's played, you've
Hmm.
had a 109.8 offensive rating. That would be good for like bottom 6 in the NBA.
Hmm.
In the 928 minutes without him, you have a 117.5 offensive rating. Your defense is only marginally better with him on the court. Your offense is fundamentally worse with him on the court. The negative on off is the net on off is negative 5.3. He's not making you better right now. So your roster is not constructed for him to get the kind of opportunity that you want him to get because you have guys like Scotty, you have
Hmm.
guys like RJ, you have guys like Jakob, and none of these guys have a tremendous amount of shooting gravity. So if you look at that play where that particular play where he shot the three, did you see how Bam reacted to him?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Didn't even close out to him. So when you cannot command a closeout, I have to make you a featured guy on my offense by involving you in the play because you can never be away from the play, right? So if we're gonna use him as a screener, then he has to be the only non-shooter on the court.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like the lineups that he plays in a lineup where there's a lot of non-shooters, questionable shooters on the court, which makes the offense stagnant. I feel like if he's playing in certain lineups where there's a lot of shooting, like let's say IQ, BI,
Okay.
Battle, who's another shooter who's been like?
Okay, I want to ask you a question. Okay, I'm going to go through this entire roster, and I want you to rate on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being a heart attack, 1 being I'm leaving him wide open. Ben Simmons. Okay, 1 is Ben Simmons, 10 is Steph Curry.
Okay,
I want you to rate how you feel about this player catching the ball above the break or at the corner. Okay, Jakob Poeltl.
Oh, that's a 1 for sure.
Okay, Scotty Barnes.
That's like a 5 or 6.
I don't think so. I think for the defense, that's like a 2.
Really?
Like a 2.5 to a 3.
I feel like when he's open, he's been knocking them down this year.
It doesn't matter because if they closed out to him, he wouldn't knock it down. So that's kind of the point, right?
Yeah,
it's a trade-off.
Yeah, true.
Like great shooters shoot like 55%, 50% like open catch and shoots, right? That might be a little bit high, but honestly, great shooters are never really that wide open, and they're not open enough for us to get like tremendous high volume. So Sandro Mamukelashvili.
That's a 7. 7-6.
Okay, I think 6 is fair. Emmanuel Quickly.
7.
I think I can go 7. Okay. Brandon Ingram.
I don't know. He's weird. He's streaky sometimes. 5, 5, 4.
I think he's more like a 7, to be honest, in terms of how defenses react to him. I'm not talking about like how likely is it to go in. I'm talking about gravity. I'm talking about if I'm the defender. Like, let's say I'm Jaime Jaquez and my man is Jakob Poeltl and he catches above the break. Am I panicking? No. That's why it's a 1, right? But if my man is Scotty Barnes, am I panicking a little bit more? Not really, because I'm like, it's a 3. But if it's Emmanuel Quickly, I'm running out to him.
100%.
BI, I'm running out to him. Okay, so BI and Ingram are the 2 guys so far. What about RJ Barrett?
That's like a 4 or 5.
I would say it's a 3. Jamal Shed.
Honestly, I think that's a 4 as well.
I think it's a 2. Jacoby Walter.
2, 1, 2, 3.
It's like a 5. Grady Dick.
The way he's been shooting it, I mean, I'm gonna just give him his respect because I still think he can make open ones. I'm gonna say 7, 6.
I think 7 is fair. Jameson Battle.
8.
8 is fair. Jonathan Mobo.
1.
Correct. Colin Murray Boyles.
3, 4.
1. Ochai Abaji.
2, 3.
I think 2, 3 is fair. AJ Lawson.
5.
It's like a 2.
You don't think so? He's actually a good shooter, though. That's one of his strengths.
He's not a great shooter at all. Elijah Martin.
No, 1, 2.
Yeah, I think 2 is about right. Chucky Hepburn.
Honestly, don't even know. I haven't watched too much of him.
He's like a 1, and Garrett Temple is like a 3.
Yes.
So my point is,
there's not a lot of.
Okay, so my point is, you cannot play 2 of these guys together. So if you have RJ on the court, let's say let's match up 2 of our non-shooters. Okay, so let's see. Mobo and CMB. I don't even think they played any minutes together. Have they played together? No, they haven't. Okay, let's try another bad shooter and CMB. Let's try CMB and Jakob Poeltl and see what happens. On the court. 99 offensive rating. Color me surprised.
Yeah.
99 points per 100 possessions is insane. Okay. So what about let's see CMB and another kind of negative spacer. That would be Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett. Okay, let's see. RJ Barrett. Okay. We're getting 115, but we're still losing our minutes. It's very small sample size. Scotty Barnes. We're getting 110. We're barely squeaking by. We're like, it's not positive. True. But let's just say it's not CMB. Let's say it's Mamu. Now it's better. Heavily positive.
Yeah.
Now it's heavily positive, right? We're getting plus 10. So the gap here is CMB is a really good young player, but you're not going to be able to prioritize a team that's built around Scotty Barnes and get him the minutes. You're not going to be able to prioritize him in lineups where Jakob Poeltl and RJ Barrett are major rotation minutes. Now, if you replace Jakob Poeltl with Jaren Jackson,
Mhm.
presumably, or
Yeah.
Kalel Ware, and you replaced RJ Barrett with
Mike Porter Jr. I know
Michael
I'm
Porter
dreaming,
Jr.,
but
now he can play 30 minutes a night, no problem.
true, true. You're right. No, you're right. It's the construction of this roster, man. It's like it's crazy. Like what? Because obviously Masai was at the game tonight, and he's probably watching all the players he drafted and are just not like Jacoby Walter, Grady Dick, not having good games at all. Who else? Someone he drafted he that did not pan out as well. Like it's just like I feel like I don't know, man. I'm looking back the recent drafts and I'm just looking at the players we drafted and the players that were still left on the board. Like the year that we drafted Grady Dick, I was very high on Keontae George. I really was. And seeing him now in Utah, like he could have been a great six man, bench plug scorer. Maybe we had him, maybe we don't trade for IQ. Who knows? Like
Mhm.
it's and then CMB, like I want to ask you, like, who would you rather have? CMB, Cedric Howard, or Derek Queen? Like, would you have Cedric Howard and Derek Queen over CMB right now and long term?
Right now, I'd rather have Cedric Coward
Mm-hmm.
or Derek Queen. Long term, I would rather have Carter Bryant. Let's still pick Carter. Uh, Long term, I would rather have. I, I'm gonna assume that Derek Queen is gonna be like an all-star, man.
Yeah, that's
Like
what I'm
it's
saying.
very, very
Like,
hard to yeah.
why couldn't the Raptors
Uh
draft him, man? I like we seen it. I remember during your evaluating, I was on your chat. I was like, man, Derek Queen is the pick. He has to be a pick, and he wasn't a pick. I don't know. Like, I'm just watching him now. I'm like, man, like he would have been just in Darko's system, and I get it. He's not that great of a defender, and he's undersized for a center. But damn, like it would have been great because he would have been starting right away. We would have been bringing him up slowly, developing him, and then once
mhm.
Jakob Pertl,
Well, it's
hopefully,
not like Queen is stretching the floor either, right?
yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying.
on a
But
team with Scotty, BI, RJ, Derek
true,
Queen is not getting this kind of opportunity.
no, for sure,
Why do you think Zion's not starting? That's a
yeah,
big
that's true,
reason why
yeah,
is because
yeah, because of
Derek
him.
Queen needs shooters around him, right?
Hmm.
So
True.
we don't have the roster which features a dynamic guard like
Hmm.
Jeremiah Fears, a sniper off the bench like Jordan Poole. We don't have Trey Murphy on our team.
True. Yeah.
There's
No,
only
you're
one.
right. No, you're
So,
right.
Derek Queen wouldn't look that great here. And then, kind of funny, but CMB, I think, would look amazing in New Orleans.
Yeah, he really would. Like, he would be starting. He would. Yeah, he would. Yeah, it's.
I don't know if he'd be starting, but I think he would look really good. I mean, he's not starting over Trey Murphy, he's not starting over Herb Jones, but I mean, like he would look really good. So I feel I feel long term, if CMB is a good shooter, I don't think his mechanics make me think he's going to be a star. But
No,
if he can finish around the rim,
which he does very well.
he's a
Yeah.
really good processor of the court, and he's a really good defender. He's a really elite defender. So his path forward towards all stardom is basically uh be a great connective passer,
Hmm.
be a good,
Defensive
attacker
connector.
downhill, be a good defensive connector, be a good offensive connector, be a good open catch and shoot guy.
Hmm.
So basically, like be an elevated, extremely elevated cross between, OG Anunoby and Lou Dort.
Hmm.
If he
Yeah.
could become that, he could maybe become a two-time All-Star. I doubt it, but he's gonna be a starter in the NBA, man. He's a good player. He's a
He
really good
he
player. But
he's a
I
good
don't see
player.
superstar shit. Like I don't see that.
No, no, obviously, but
Yeah,
he's definitely gonna be a guy. Like he's gonna be part of contending championship teams. Like he's gonna play big roles. Like he's gonna have
sure.
those type of impacts. And that's great. Especially if we ever have any aspirations of being one of those teams. But yeah, oh man, that's it, man. Thanks for having me on, bro.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot for calling him. See ya. Okay, so that's where we're at. And quick thing here. Hold on one second. Let me just pull this up. I will let you know that we're thinking of doing this either tomorrow. It will be announced very, very soon. But tomorrow or the next day, we will have a Christmas A Pensare Basketball Christmas, basically. Shit, I can't pull it up. Anyways, you saw Santa Claus on the screen. I was googling Santa Claus, took the video, took the image off the internet, and then now I can't post it up. But anyways, we will have a Christmas episode for sure. I would love your feedback on what you would like covered in that Christmas episode. Would you like, a Christmas wish list episode, which we did a couple of years ago, where it's like these are the things that I want for Christmas, and I think a lot of those things actually came true. Like Dennis Schroeder off my team, I was like, he left. So we could do one of those, or we could just have a super chill, community Christmas where we play chess, drink some rewind, drink some. I was gonna say drink some rewind, drink some wine, play some chess, shoot the shit, talk about whatever, and just hang. It's like a virtual hang for our community, and we could do that tomorrow evening, which will be Christmas Eve, or we could do that on Christmas Day. Y'all let me know. I was thinking of doing it on Christmas Day, but I'm on the panel both tomorrow and the next day. My girlfriend's a little bit peeved with me. She's like, "You're working on Christmas Day, and then you're doing, the post game stuff. I want to watch movies, blah, 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 blah." We're also trying something new right now. It's a very interesting thought process. Is We're trying to pack up all of our stuff as if we're moving so that we can remove into our house. Isn't that interesting? So we're going to do that over the holidays. We're going to pack up all of our stuff in boxes, put it in boxes, and then just reimagine the space, right? I don't know. I've never done that before, but I just figure it'll be a really great opportunity to declutter. It'll be a really great opportunity to reperspectivize space. It'll be a really great opportunity to kind of just reimagine like what is actually taking space in my life and what do I not want here, etc. So I just figured it'd be a pretty good idea. Yeah. Anyways, I'll talk to y'all later. Great way to get some cleaning done. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a great way to get some cleaning done. If I don't talk to you again, or if you're here today, but you won't be here for that Christmas show, I just want to wish you a very, very Merry Christmas if you celebrate, and a Happy New Year. And I hope that I hope we'll have a lot to celebrate this year. I understand that some people are a little bit sad about the last few games, but hey, man, games like today give you a little bit of hope that your franchise player is a real franchise player, that your first round pick is going to work out. And, ultimately, like, never forget the Raptors are fourth in the Eastern Conference and they have absolutely exceeded expectations. I know we're a little bit spoiled as a fan base because we expect championships now. And that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to, have higher expectations and higher aspirations. But at the same time, don't forget that this young team had nothing to do. Not a single player on this team had anything to do with that championship run. So this is their own run. Scotty got to find his own way. BI got to find his own way. IQ got to find a way. All of these guys, they have to grow. But, you are one of the younger teams in the league, and you're one of the better teams in the league. And that is rare. Young teams are rarely good. And this team is young, and they are good. The guy who is holding up your age average is basically Garrett Temple, and he does not play. So, in terms of functional age, the Raptors are one of the 8 youngest teams in the NBA. And right now, they are one of the top 12 teams in the NBA. I think that is a very, very, very positive thing if you look forward, project in the future. And, big response game from Scotty Barnes. Big response game. Good game for Scotty Barnes. I'm very, very happy to see this. Anyways, I'll talk to y'all later. Please join us in the panel tomorrow. If you are, interested in more basketball content, you want to talk about the NBA in general, you want to hear, an overreaction by a bunch of people to OKC losing to San Antonio, definitely check out the panel tomorrow. Looking forward to the next stream. Thank you for all you do, Penn. Thank you for all you do. Thank you to all of our community members. Thank you to everybody, for helping me on my goal to paying off my mortgage. It was, I'm going to fall short. Spoiler alert, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days left in the year. I'm going to fall short 1 week. I can't get enough opportunities. I got an editing gig and that ended up paying like a little bit less than I was expecting because they ended up cutting the work short. It's fine. Honestly, I'm happy I tried. I'm really, really happy I tried. And I'm so, so thankful that this community helped me get as close as I actually got, because I got pretty fucking close. Pretty close. James Welsh is basically the Grinch here, said, my Christmas wish is that Bobby gets fired. What would you hope if somebody gets fired on Christmas? Low key though, I won't say my wish is that Bobby Webster gets fired. My wish is that Bobby Webster has a Christmas Carol-esque epiphany, where or yeah, like where, the ghost of Christmas present, past, and future takes him through all of his draft day decisions and contract signing issues and stuff like that. And, you know, you know, that would be a really funny fan fiction thing. Someone should write that story, or maybe, use ChatGPT to write that story for you. Bobby Webster as Ebenezer Scrooge. Um, you know, what day is it? It's the trade deadline, sir. Anyways, I'll talk to y'all later. Have a great one. Peace.